He was born into chains. His very name meant acquired, a piece of property to be bought and sold. His master broke his leg, leaving him crippled for life. And yet this slave would become the teacher of emperors. He discovered a freedom no prison could contain. While kings trembled at the threats of assassins and the whispers of conspirators, this limping former slave walked through Rome with a peace they could never buy. His students included senators, generals, even a future emperor. Freedom is not given. It is claimed from within. Epictetus understood something that most people never will, that the chains on your body mean nothing compared to the chains on your mind. It is not things that disturb us, but our judgments about things. Today, we're going to unlock the secrets of the man who proved that true liberation begins in the mind. What you're about to learn could set you free in ways you never imagined possible. Born in chains. Epictetus was born around 50 AD in Hierapolis, a city in what is now Turkey. His mother was a slave, which meant he was born into bondage property from his first breath. His Greek name Epictetus literally translates to acquired or gained, not even granted the dignity of a real name, just a label describing his status as merchandise. No man is free who is not master of himself. He was sold to Epictetus, a wealthy freedman who served as secretary to Emperor Nero, one of the most brutal rulers in Roman history. Imagine being owned by someone who worked for a man known for burning Christians alive as garden torches. The young Epictetus witnessed the absolute worst of human nature. Power corrupted, cruelty normalized, lives discarded like broken pottery. Slave becomes master, but something remarkable was happening inside this enslaved boy. While others saw only his chains, he was beginning to see something else, a door that no master could lock. And what he discovered behind that door would change philosophy forever. But first, he would have to survive the cruelty that was coming. The broken leg. The ancient sources tell us that Epictetus was lame, his leg deliberately broken by his master. Some say Epictetus twisted his leg in a fit of rage. Others claim it was torture. The cruelty was intentional and permanent. According to one account, as his master was twisting his leg, the young Epictetus said calmly, "If you keep doing that, you're going to break it." When it snapped, he simply said, "I told you so." Whether this story is literally true or not, it captures something essential about the philosophy that was forming in his mind. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. He could not control what his master did to his body, but he could control how he responded. This was not passive acceptance or weakness. It was the discovery of an invincible inner fortress. His broken leg became his first great teacher. Every step he took for the rest of his life reminded him. External circumstances could wound his body, but only he could wound his soul. This insight would become the cornerstone of everything he taught, but the real education was just beginning. The Stoic teacher. Despite being a slave, Epictetus was allowed to study philosophy under Musonius Rufus, the greatest Stoic teacher of the age. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Musonius saw something in this crippled slave that others missed: raw potential, a fierce intelligence, and most importantly, a soul that had already begun liberating itself through the crucible of suffering. The philosophy of Stoicism had been developing for centuries, but Epictetus would transform it into something practical, powerful, and revolutionary. Control only what you can. He learned that the Stoics divided everything in life into two categories: things within our control and things outside our control. Most people waste their entire lives trying to control what they cannot: other people's opinions, the past, the future, death itself. The only true prison is the one you build in your own mind. When Nero fell and Epictetus lost his power, Epictetus was eventually freed. But here's the profound truth: he had already been free for years. The legal papers were just catching up to reality. Now the question was, what would he do with his freedom? Dichotomy of control. This is it, the core of everything Epictetus taught. The idea that still has the power to transform your life today. Control. He opened his teachings with these words: Some things are within our power while others are not. Within our power are opinion, motivation, desire, aversion, in a word, whatever is of our own doing. Not within our power are our body, our reputation, position of authority, whatever is not of our own doing. Read that again. Your body is not fully within your control, neither is your reputation, nor your position in society. Everything you've been fighting for might be the wrong battle, but your thoughts, your judgments, your values, your responses, those are yours completely, unconditionally. Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens. Most human suffering comes from confusing these two categories. We rage against traffic, worry about what others think, fear death, all things utterly outside our control. Meanwhile, we neglect the one arena where we have absolute power, our own minds. Inner power is absolute. This isn't just philosophy. It's the operating system for a life of unshakable peace. But how do you actually live this way? Freedom redefined. Epictetus taught that most people are slaves, even those who wear crowns. True freedom is not about where you stand, but how you think. Think about it. The wealthy man who fears losing his fortune is a slave to that fear. The beautiful woman terrified of aging is imprisoned by vanity. The powerful senator trembling at political rivals is chained by ambition. Even emperors surrounded by guards, possessing absolute power over life and death, could be more enslaved than the poorest beggar. They were slaves to their desires, their fears, their need for approval. Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Epictetus, with his broken leg and scarred back, walking through the streets of Rome, he was the freest man in the empire. Desire nothing, fear nothing. When you want nothing that others can give you and fear nothing they can take away, you become untouchable. This was radical in his time. It remains radical today. How many of us are truly free by this definition? But freedom is only half the equation. Epictetus also taught how to handle life's inevitable blows. Handling hardship. Here's where Epictetus's philosophy becomes intensely practical. Life will hit you hard, repeatedly. You will lose people you love. You will fail at things that matter. Your body will betray you. What then? Difficulties are things that show a person what they are. Epictetus taught that obstacles aren't just inevitable, they are essential. They are the gymnasium where your character is forged. Every setback is training in disguise. He used a powerful analogy. Life is like a wrestling match. Your opponent throws you down, and that's exactly how you become stronger. The challenge is the training. Obstacle equals opportunity. When you lose your job, you're being trained in resourcefulness. When someone betrays you, you're learning about human nature. When your health fails, you discover what truly matters. Every difficulty in life presents us with an opportunity to turn inward. The Stoic doesn't avoid hardship or pretend it doesn't hurt. They use it. They metabolize suffering into strength. This is why modern psychologists, Navy SEAL, and Olympic athletes have rediscovered these ancient techniques. But Epictetus went even further. He taught us how to prepare for the worst before it happens. Premeditatio malorum. Each morning, Epictetus recommended a practice that might seem dark, but is profoundly liberating. Imagine everything that could go wrong. Prepare. This is premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Before leaving your house, visualize. You might encounter rude people, liars, ungrateful colleagues. Your plans might fail. Traffic might make you late. Someone might insult you. By rehearsing these scenarios in your mind, you strip them of their power to disturb you. When you are going to perform any action, remind yourself what kind of action it is. But here's the profound part: extend this to the ultimate: death. Epictetus taught students to reflect on mortality daily, not morbidly but wisely. Memento mori, remember death. When you kiss your child goodnight, whisper to yourself, tomorrow they might be gone. Not to live in fear, but to love fully now, to waste nothing, to take nothing for granted. This moment might be your last, so live it completely. This practice doesn't make you gloomy. It makes you present, grateful, and utterly alive. And this brings us to Epictetus's most controversial teaching, legacy of wisdom. Epictetus was eventually exiled from Rome when Emperor Domitian banished all philosophers. He settled in Greece, started a school, and taught until his death around 135 AD. He never wrote a single word. Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Everything we know comes from his student Arian, who recorded his lectures in the Discourses and summarized them in the Enchiridion, the handbook of Stoic wisdom. Words become worlds. That little handbook has traveled through 2,000 years, influencing everyone from the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, who quoted Epictetus constantly in his own meditations, to modern leaders and thinkers. Cognitive behavioral therapy, the most scientifically validated form of psychotherapy, is built directly on Epictetus's insight that our judgments, not events, create our emotions. Admiral James Stockdale, prisoner of war in Vietnam, survived 7 years of torture by reciting Epictetus from memory. A slave's wisdom still guides emperors 2,000 years later. The crippled slave became immortal, not through power, wealth, or fame, but through truth. Truth about what we control, what freedom really means, and how to live with unshakable inner peace. A slave with a broken leg taught emperors how to be free. He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. In a world obsessed with external achievement, more money, more followers, more possessions, Epictetus points us inward, to the one territory we actually rule, to the kingdom between our ears. Master your mind, master life. His message is simple but revolutionary. Stop trying to control what you cannot. Start mastering what you can. Every frustration you feel is a signal that you're focused on the wrong domain. Every moment of peace is proof that you're focused on the right one. True freedom awaits anyone willing to claim it. The chains aren't on your wrists, they never were. They are in your expectations, your attachments, your desperate need for life to be other than it is. Let go of those and you'll discover what Epictetus discovered in the depths of slavery, a freedom no master can give and no tyrant can take away. The choice is yours. It was always yours. If this unlocked something in you, subscribe for more ancient wisdom that transforms modern life.